Hi everyone, welcome to the SuperClashBros, a podcast where we take a deep dive into the horror stories of Reddit and discuss the things that truly go bump in the night. My name is Trey, and I will be your guide through the strange and unexplainable this evening. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Trey, and today I'm joined by my co-host Connor. Connor will be narrating today's story. Go ahead, Connor.
Alright, tonight's story comes from the subreddit Paranormal and was submitted by user Valpal1237. And the title of this one is, For a Decade, I Was a Paranormal Tour Guide at an Infamous Location. The Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, formerly known as Weston State Hospital, is a Kirkbride building that housed the mentally ill from 1864 to 1994. In 2007, it was privately purchased and has become a museum/historic location and ghost hunting spot. It has a most unpleasant and dark history that have regaled to thousands of people, and it pains me to be an expert on the subject. In 2021, I retired from my position as a guide and ghost hunt event manager under severe burnout. After all that I experienced there, it solidified in my mind that paranormal things that defy rational explanation do indeed happen, and certain phenomena are absolutely real, EVPs especially. It's almost October, and I'm feeling a little spooky, so here's a couple strange things I experienced in my time there. One evening, while training for the job, I was on the first floor with a couple coworkers while everyone else was touring upstairs. We were just kind of killing time, quietly observing the area. Light from the outside was coming in through the windows, casting on the inner hall's wall. In that light, I watched the perfect silhouette of a man, from head to hip, walk through that light from left to right. I said something about it, and the three of us watched as an arm and hand moved into the light from the right side. I immediately ran into the room and began looking out of that window for someone outside. There was no one there at the time. The realization that from the ground to the bottom of the window is like 7 feet didn't even occur to me. I will never forget the crisp, clear silhouette shape for as long as I live. We would run experiments with a spirit box. It rapidly scans radio frequencies and are believed to be a communication device. One person would use one with noise-canceling earbuds. All they're able to hear is the radio static and blips of a few random stations. When they hear a word or phrase, they say it out loud. I always liked this role in the experiment. One evening, my coworker and I ran one of these experiments in a notorious room where a murder in 1987 took place. For 10 minutes, I sat and listened to nothing but radio static through the spirit box. No blips of radio, nothing except ch-ch-ch of the static. I was starting to get bored when I heard a woman's voice say, "Evil," so I spoke up and repeated the word evil. Next thing I know, my coworker is shining her flashlight in my face to get my attention. I pull out the earbud, and she was practically frantic, saying, "It's time to go, time to go." We haul ass out of the room, down the hall, down to the next hall, to the center section where she would even tell me what happened. While I was hearing nothing but static, she kept hearing what sounded like someone shuffling their feet and walking around just outside the door. She said she spoke up and asked, "Whoever's in the hallway, are they nice?" That was when I spoke out and said evil.
Damn.
In the wee hours one night, we figured it would be cool to see what would happen if we shut all the doors of the ward. One of the doors, as I was closing it, the knob twisted in my hand. I was not twisting the knobs, and was forcibly pulled closed. I stood there for several moments, opening, closing that door, trying to replicate what happened, trying to explain it. Finally, the person with me was like, "What the hell are you doing?" It was so weird. I'd never felt invisible force like that before. Had 3 people spend the night one night, and they had thermal imaging video. They set it up, pointing down the hall where we could watch on a tablet. We thought it would be interesting to leave a device at the far end of the hall that would alarm if the field around it was disturbed. As one of the dudes walked down the hall to put it there, we could see his form on thermal imaging, clearly human-shaped, and colors representing heat and warmth. When we walked by one of those doorways, about a quarter of the way down the ward, the shape of a head, neck, shoulders, and upper body of a person in colors indicating cooler temperatures peeked out as he walked by, like someone popped out of the room for a sec as he walked by to check him out. I've never seen anything like it. I won't forget it. and would give my left testicle, if I had one, for a copy of that footage. That happened a lot, a guest capturing something far out and not sending us a copy of it. I'll end this long-winded Reddit post with something that absolutely changed me, and I still don't understand. I remember the exact night and time of those occurrences. That's how profound and somewhat unsettling they were. June 3rd and June 4th of 2017 at 3:40 a.m. June 3rd. After an hour or so of hearing a female's voice, one instance even sounded like she said my name, as well as banging around, footsteps, literally running down the hardwood floor towards us, I sat quietly on the floor with a group. I started to feel dizzy, lightheaded, and gross. I told myself it was my imagination and then I'd be fine. A few minutes later, I started to feel this intense burning sensation on my lower back, just to the right of my spine. Again, I told myself it was all my imagination. The burning sensation kept amping up, getting worse and worse. I told myself that I didn't want to be that guy and say anything in front of these people, you know? Finally, it got to the point where I had to say something. I asked my coworker with us if there was anything there. She was like, OMG. There, on my lower back, just to the right of my spine, was a mark that looked like a burn or an abrasion about 3 to 4 inches long and about 1 inch wide. Now, I'd seen other such claims made by visitors of scratch marks and the like, often writing them off, and the marks were always gone within an hour at most. I had visible markings on my back for almost a week. My nerves there, to this very day, often feel weird, sometimes chilled, sometimes like a skin soreness, especially when I think of the experience. June 4th. Same part of the building. Same time of night. Because I just can't get enough, right? I noticed that my voice recorder ran out of memory, so I'm holding it in my right hand, using the flashlight in my left so I could see what I was doing. Suddenly, I feel a burning sensation on the underside of my right forearm. Did a what the fuck and shifted my flashlight to it. The person beside me and I watched as 3 welts began to appear down my arm. Needless to say, that shit blew my mind. It is one thing to see marks like that, it's a whole ass other to watch it as it happens on your own skin. Like the majority of instances I've heard about, these marks were gone within 10 to 15 minutes, with no lasting effects. Scared would be the wrong word, but I have none to describe my mind frame around these events. I took a week off from work after to try and process it all, and was nervous being in the hallway for the rest of that summer. Like I said, I still don't know what to think or believe. I've got enough stories of experiences to probably fill a book, but I'll leave you with those for now. I will add a final note about how constantly poking around in the dark and talking about past true horrors of human experience day in and day out truly takes its toll spiritually and emotionally. Since my resignation, my mental health and overall level of happiness has greatly improved. I used to tell people for a while afterwards that it felt like I'd gotten out of a toxic relationship with that place.
Damn, dude. This has everything that you'd wanted to have out of a haunting.
Uh-huh.
Like, you've got visuals, you have physical harm happening, voices. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I thought this one was pretty rich with experiences. And it's also pretty interesting because it comes from someone who worked at a place that was converted into this haunted experience thing. So, and they don't currently work there, so they have no vested interest in trying to hype it up or draw people to it. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And on top of that, like, the one thing that I got from this is, working at a place where there's supposedly paranormal activity and you're talking about these negative events such as murders or the fact that it was basically an asylum, is got to take a toll on your mental health a bit too, right? And so I think combined with the experiences this person had, I don't know if I could have done it for, a extended period of time.
Right. Well, let me ask you this, and I'll also ask the viewers this. But would you work at a place that was haunted? The purpose of it was that it was haunted, like it was a haunted attraction, like you were a tour guide there. Like, would you do it for the chance to see these things, or would you be like, no thanks, that's not for me?
I think it depends on the context. Like for me, I would say yes if it didn't mean putting myself in what I would consider to be potentially dangerous situations. Like if I could run a tour of this haunted house during the day or something and just, close it up at night and I didn't have to be by myself in like a dark, potentially active place, I'd do it. But if they were like, "Hey, listen, we need you to be a security guard at this abandoned asylum and walk the halls of it every night by yourself." Yeah, that's a big fuck no to that.
Hmm.
What about you?
Everything that was in this story is everything that I've ever wanted out of, like a ghost experience. Like I don't believe in the afterlife. I don't necessarily believe in the paranormal. But, I my mind can be changed, and I would love for it to be changed. So, yeah, I would probably jump at the opportunity to do something like this if I knew that there was a possibility of seeing these things and experiencing these things. But whether I would do it by myself, I don't know about that. I would
Like,
definitely do it at night.
would you
Um,
be like a night guard by yourself?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
Yeah.
I've seen some videos where um, people are working late at night at like a cafe or a store, and they're one of like the last two people to close up for the day. And then every single night, like something happens to them while they're by themselves, and like the security cameras pick up some of it. I don't think I'd want to be in that situation either. I think the being alone part would not only be bad because it's a scary situation and no one wants to be alone in a scary situation, but also that unless you had concrete proof, everyone would think you're just slowly losing your mind. Like,
Right.
yeah, he closes the shop at night, but yeah, Connor talks about weird shit. I think he's losing. you know?
It blows my mind that a lot of these experiences that this person had were with other people. Like there
Oh
are
yeah.
witnesses to this, and I think that there's something in that, like having that shared experience and being like, okay, so I'm not crazy. Like this did happen, goes a long way to like validate how you feel about something.
I think haunted places like this are like a drain on our energy. Like when these spirits are trying to like contact or to manifest or to do some sort of action, that it's like taking a little bit from the people that are there. And so like when he said, it felt like getting out of a toxic relationship, that like it was because he's no longer being his energy being sapped away every day.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see that.
Heard that theory posed a few
Right.
times, is that, like the ghost, how they'll bring electronics and sometimes they'll say, "Oh, my electronics died. It sucked all the energy out of them or something." The
Mm-hmm.
batteries that were fully charged when we came in here are now empty, and it's only been like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
Like they're said to be able to like manipulate energy waves. So what's to say that they're not
I mean,
manipulating your energy waves?
the stuff in our brain, that sends signals to the rest of us is the same, electric, basically,
Right.
energy. It's feasible that they could take some of our energy away. Just a theory I had.
Yeah. That yeah, I believe in that as well. But yeah, that's some creepy shit, man. Like just the thought of seeing an apparition, having like physical harm come to yourself, whether it has lasting effects or not, I think is very powerful. So
And the interesting thing is, and I had no intent of doing this, I don't know if these places are related. but in a previous story we did, it was talking about an Allegheny park, and this is the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. And I wonder if there's any connection between the two of those, or just a coincidence of names that weird things are happening at two places with the weird name of Allegheny.
And you didn't look it up? You didn't verify?
I wanted to go into one.
I don't know. That's, yeah, maybe. Be interesting. I don't know. There's not really any other correlation between the two, because the other one was about a bear. But
well, we think it's about a bear.
We think it's
but
about
it
a
could
bear.
have been spiritual
Anything.
stuff too. Supernatural, possibly.
Yeah. Something to ponder.
Dun, dun,
All
dun.
right, well, I think that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. If you have any stories you'd like to submit, you can do so via our email at scspookycast@gmail.com. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all of our content. We do another podcast where Connor and Kale talk about video games that they're playing through, some anime, some manga, and then we've got some gaming videos that I do that are pretty cool on the channel too, so go check that out. Share them with your friends and family. We've got merch going still, so go cop yourself some Super Clash merch. And other than that, we hope that you have a safe and spooky night, and we will catch you guys on the next one.